This conference will now be recorded.
We completed until here, the third step, right? Next, default pay scale type and areas. Define default pay scale type and areas. Check if you can default them based on the enterprise structure. See, if employee group is permanent, then I use 2P. If employee group is contract, I use 2Q. And if my location is California, then I use C2. Okay, if location is New York, I use N2. So I can default this pay scale types and area based on my enterprise structure and person structure combinations. Okay, so there is a feature. There is a feature given tariff. There is a feature given tariff. Okay, so how do we do it? We completed until here, right? The next one is this. Determine default for pay scale data. Is the document that I shared useful structure too for finding a path? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So determine default for pay scale data. Okay. So let me add my company code. Under this, I call employee group. Okay, Q. Okay. Okay, under this, I check the location. Now tell me guys, what should I default here? Which pay scale type and area? Anyone? Which pay scale type and area should I default here? Under NY49. First pay scale type and second pay scale area.
2PNY, sir.
2P pay scale type slash
NY.
N2. Okay.
Or N2.
And this one same 2Q, sorry, 2P C2, right? So I can copy this. Using a shortcuts is much better always in a feature. What I need to change in this? The return value. Sorry, slash is must.
Sir, we were not taken training.
Until here, I mean, these steps same for all countries. All the steps here are same for all countries, guys. Okay, no difference between country to country, all same until here. So we are done with this. Test it, check and activate. How do I test it? Go to US 49 employee,
IT8.
create IT8. Okay, see 2P and 2 populated. Do we have a groups and levels created at? No. Country grouping 10, pay scale type 2P, pay scale area N2, CAP grouping 3. How does the system pick CAP grouping 3 here? On what basis system identifying the CAP grouping is 3? Why not it is 1? Anyone?
So yesterday we gave it in the defined it in the tables.
Okay, which table is that? We maintain 1 also, right?
Yes, that is for the weekly ones, not for 2P.
So here, perfect. So in infotype 1, what is the employee group? Permanent, monthly. Permanent monthly I maintain with a 3. So it is searching for the pay scale groups and levels created with these 4 parameters. We have not created them yet. We have not created any pay scale type and pay scale groups and levels in this combination 2P and 2-3. Clear? We're going to do that. In your system, you don't see these various types. You don't find these various types in your system, guys. Okay? Don't worry about them. Only thing that you need to verify is if 2P and 2 are defaulted here or not. If you want to only default payroll area, then keep space here / fill only area. If you want to fill default only type, see here, fill the type / space. You can default both, you can default one. Clear? Next. What is the next step? Assign period parameter to every combination of pay scale type and area CAP grouping. How many we have actually? We have this. This is one, and this is one. Yeah. So we have these combinations. These are monthly. These are weekly. Okay. So how does the system understand that this pay scale type is monthly, this pay scale type is weekly? so that the calculation rules and agreements follow that frequency for the calculation of annual salary and the rates, etc. How does the system understand that? So that's why we have assign a period parameter to every combination of pay scale type and area. So what period parameter do we need to assign? Not this. 6A. One is 65 and the one is 67. Okay, 65 and 67. So look at this. After this step, the immediate step is set up payroll period for a collective agreement provision. Set up payroll period for a collective agreement provision. Okay. See the format, first pay scale type and then text, pay scale area and then text and then CAP grouping and then dates and then period parameter. So we prepare a Excel file in the same format. First pay scale type and its text, and then pay scale area and its text. Yeah. Period parameter 65. This is 67. This is what assigned to weekly employees. So look at this. Take this directly from here. You don't need to maintain go to new entries and type manually all these entries. Where is it? Yeah. Okay. What you can do is go to new entries, copy paste. So Excel is very useful when you have a large number of entries. With this, system understands that your pay period working hours have to be calculated on a weekly basis. Pay period working hours have to be calculated on monthly basis. Second thing, your annual salary frequency 52 and your annual salary frequency is 12 in this case, which is why this is important. Okay, pay scale structure belongs to which frequency? Using the same format, the next step is currency assignment. Define hourly rates with the several decimal places. Define hourly rates with the several decimal places. Okay, define hourly rates with the several decimal places. In this, there is a last step. Assign pay scale to currency. Assign pay scale to currency, guys. Double click on it. You see it's in the same format. Only changes in the last column, instead of period parameter, you have a currency. So in fact, you can use the same structure. Here, keep USD. So instead of going to the table and maintaining individual entry, go to this table, go to new entries, copy and paste them. All combination of pay scale type. So you get 12 combinations, as I said yesterday. Now for every combination of these three parameters, we should create groups and levels. What are the groups and levels? We need to create, which is the next step, which is revise pay scale groups and levels. This step is this. We are done with this too. Now this, create pay scale groups and level for every combination of pay scale type, area, CAP, and we have them here. Okay, let's see. So the next step, revise pay scale groups and levels. Revise pay scale groups and levels. Look at this. It is asking for the pay scale type and area. Okay, it is asking for the pay scale type and area. So you prepare an Excel sheet again. Okay, now let's say 2P and 2. First understand the format 2P and 2. First pay scale group, a CAP grouping, pay scale group level, and then wage type, and then start date and end date. So this is okay. CAP grouping, pay scale group level, and then we have a wage type column. We have not configured that yet, and then we have a start date and end date. These columns should be, if you want to use copy option, the column should be exactly same as your table when you are using this copy and paste options. Otherwise it takes longer time to maintain these entries one by one, even in real time. Recently I'm working in a company. There are 3000 entries of pay scale groups and levels. 3000 entries. That's it. So how do we do it? 2P and 2. Apply filter option. Okay, maintain only these entries. select it, go to new entries, enter these entries. No, the date column incorrect. Sorry, I copied wrong entries. Okay, we need to copy from here only. Already 2P and 2 selected, right? So we need to copy from here. Save it. Okay. Next, apply the color for the entries that have been already updated. So you will understand these are already updated. Next, 2Q, 2P, C2. Okay, 2P, C2. Go back. Again, for the 2P, C2, new entries. Copy these entries. Okay, permanent employees, permanent pay scale structure is done. Okay, permanent pay scale structure is done. So these are updated already in the table. Next, 2Q. Okay, 2Q and 2. Go to new entries, right from here to here. Okay, updated entries. Next, 2Q, C2. Okay, 2Q, C2. Updated. Apply the color for the filled entries. Next, 2R. Okay, both I selected because it's a single entry. Okay, 2R and 2 only tiny. 2R, C2 again. That's it. Check if all are placed in the table or not. All are updated. So without having an Excel sheet, we will not be able to configure it. So when you are preparing blueprint, okay, when you are working on a blueprint, there itself, you need to collect this information from the customer, okay, and prepare how many pay scale types groups are required. See here, we need to collect that information from the customer. Pay scale type, area, CAP grouping, all this information we collected. Okay. Next. We are done with the pay scale structure, guys. Are we clear with this, all of you?
Yes, sir.
So verify your infotype 8. When I go to this, how many entries do I see here? 2P and 2. How many entries do I see here? The 2P and 2.
Nine, sir.
Okay. Anyone else? When I go to this drop down, how many entries will I see? According to this Excel sheet, let me close this. How many entries will I see?
So 4.
Sir, 5, sir.
Sorry, sir, 3.
These are 6 entries. In fact, 7 entries are there. These are not displayed. Why these are not displayed? Because this employee is not a weekly employee. This employee is a salaried employee. Right? 3. Entries with the 3 only appeared. So if you go to this, you see 2P, N2, 3. With this combination, you have the 7 entries. Clear? With this combination, you have the 7 entries. Okay. Now check hourly employee. I don't know if we have one. It's a permanent hourly employee. You will see 3 entries. 2Q and 2-1. With this combination, how many we have? Only 3. 3 are populated here. Is that clear? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we are done with the pay scale types. Pay scale groups and levels. Pay scale structure done. The next topic is payments and deductions, which is nothing but wage types. So here, the moment you go to this screen, infotype 8 screen, You see, there is a 4-digit code and it says the name of the elements. Okay, so in any technology, payroll technology, we have to have pay components. Yes or no? If there is a payroll, it's a pay component. What do you mean by a pay component or salary component?
Division of salary portion.
Or we call it as a wage component or a wage element. So different names, different technologies, different names. In SAP, it is wage type. Okay. Either if you look at your pay slip, what do you see in a pay slip? What do you
Breakup
see in a
of the
pay slip?
salaries. So different components, basic, DA, HRA, different components. Sir.
And deductions, what
Transport
deductions?
allowances, reductions, PF,
Yes,
group insurance,
yes,
and tax,
yes.
and
Medical
any other
insurance.
medical insurance, whatever we take.
Okay. So any amount, like it could be a payment or a deduction or a net pay or a total gross pay or insurance deduction or PF deduction or tax deduction, any amount in SAP, it has to be stored in a waste tab. Okay, it is identified with a waste tab. So the waste tab is a 4-digit character code in SAP. Okay, and it carries a number or a rate or an amount or combinations. The waste tab is something that is that carries a number or a rate or a amount. If you want to store a number or a rate or a amount anywhere, it should be a waste tab in payroll. It could be a payment amount or deduction amount or none of those. Both, it could be an adjustment or a reporting, or it can be a dummy number or a dummy amount, anything. If you want to store a number or a rate or an amount, we have to have a waste tabs. We have to have a waste tabs. Other technologies, success factor, in say for example in success factor they call it as a pay component, but in SAP it is called waste tabs. Every amount that you see in a pay slip is stored in a waste tab. Even if you want to maintain a payments and deductions to the employee, it's like in SAP you are maintaining a waste tabs to the employee. Like the way in this example, you see the basic pay, uniform allowance, special allowance, transport allowance, all these are called waste tabs. A unique ID for representing a pay component, a unique 4-digit character code to represent a pay component. Okay, you can define it in a number of ways. It can be a allowance, it can be a reimbursement, okay, it can be a deduction, it can be a adjustment, It can be a reporting amount, anything. It can be a reporting amount. Okay. In all these scenarios, we have to have a amount maintained. So if you want to maintain an amount, a waste type is required. Okay. So the waste type identifies what amount that is. Okay, in payroll. So every waste type has its own characters. Every waste type has its own characters. See how basic pay is different from overtime. Anyone? Can anyone tell me
Basic pay
what
is
are
the
the
regular
differences?
component.
Hmm.
Basic pay is the regular component, whereas OT is the irregular component based on the OT hours paid.
Okay. What else?
OT will
Basic
be
pay
calculated
used
on
for
the
basic pay is used for all other contributions like PF, ESI.
Okay.
PT
Professional
is
tax.
gratuity, leave encashment,
Okay.
HRA.
HRA exemption. But what about this? And also this is constant. Every pay period, it is a constant amount until the salary is increased. Yes or no? It varies from pay period to pay period. It is not part of PF basis. It is not. It is part of, yes, ESI basis. It is part of professional tax, not part of gratuity, not part of leave encashment, not part of exemptions, HRA exemption. The nature of this waste tab and the nature of this waste tab both are different. Clear? Okay. So every pay component has its own characters. Both are payments to the employee. Both are added to the gross. Both are payments to the employee. Both are added to the gross. But basic pay is used in many scenarios, whereas overtime is not used. It is not used in PF calculation. It is not used in gratuity calculation. It is not used in leave encashment, exemption, etc. It is used in ESI and professional tax contributions, and there is no guarantee that employee would receive the same amount every period, right? In case of overtime, yes or no?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, so every component has its own characters. Okay, the attribute of every waste type is different. So generally, and every country has a set of components which are commonly paid in all the companies. In India, what are the normal salary components that you see in a payslip? Commonly that you see in a payslips?
Basic pay, HRA, LTA, special allowance. This will be constant.
Basic pay and allowances.
What are the common allowances in India? Commonly paid allowances.
HRA
HRA, sir.
Okay.
and special allowances.
Basic pay, HRA, conveyance,
Transport conveyance. Yeah.
LTA, special allowance, DNS allowance. These are commonly paid components in India for all the in almost all the companies. Why is it like that? Why these components have to be in there in the payslip? Why can't it be a single component basic pay? See, for example, I'm giving a 1 lakh, let's say annual CTC 12 lakhs. Okay, why can't I give 1 lakh per month in a single pay component basic pay?
So PF
Company need to
is calculated based on basic pay, sir.
Bonus
The
also
only
depends on
So it's also a cost to the company. Whatever the amount is contributed by an employee has to be contributed the same amount by the employer. So they
customer
have
company
a
wise there
basic
is
pay
no
and
difference.
basket of allowances.
Okay,
And as per legislation, basic pay will be the basis for retirement benefits, sir. So it will, if all the amount were put in one basic pay, then the
Hmm.
cost to the company will be higher, due to which the companies will segregate the amount based on the to minimize the retirement cost.
Okay, see how employees benefited out of it. You are saying it company prospect.
So tax calculations, HRA exemptions, LTA.
So that's a
And
main.
sir, and LTA will be claimed for the FBB allowance, sir, and children education allowance. This all comes for exemption purpose, sir.
So
HRA also.
exactly. So the design of a salary structure, the design of the salary structure, once the HR manager who is the HR policy maker, design this salary structure by keeping two things in mind. One is employee should be benefited out of it. Employee should be able to utilize the maximum exemptions that he is eligible for. Maximum tax exemptions. Okay, first point. So if you do not pay HRA, he will not be getting the HRA exemption. If you don't pay LTA, he will not be getting LTA exemption. If you don't pay children education allowance, he will not be able to get the children education allowance paid by the company. So for others who are fresh to the, who are freshers to the payroll, say for example, I have 10 lakhs. Okay, 10 lakhs is a total gross anukunnam. What do you mean by exemption? So this entire 10 lakhs will not be taxed. This is the earning of an employee. This entire 10 lakhs will not be taxed. Government has given the certain exemptions. Okay, the employee can get out of his payroll or from his expenses, other expenses. So exemption is something, the exemption amount is something that is not included in the tax calculation or excluded from the tax calculation. Okay, suppose if say government says HRA can be 40% of a basis or 50% of basis, whatever the rule is, you can get a tax exemption. So let's say it has come around 60,000 HRA exemption as per the government rule. It has a 60,000. So the 60,000 will not be taxed in the 10 lakhs. Only the remaining amount will be taxed, which is how much? 94,000, right? 94,000. No. 10 lakhs kada? 9 lakhs 40,000. Only 9 lakhs 40,000 will be taxed. This is called exempted. And there is a provident fund exemption. There is other exemptions, various other exemptions. You can get up to 1.5 lakh. These exemptions you can get up to 1.5 lakh. So exempted. 1.5 lakh is exempted from the tax calculation. What's the remaining balance? 8 lakh, 7 lakh, 90,000. Okay. So this one exempted. This one is exempted. Exempted means the amount that is not included in the tax calculation. Keep yourself in mute. Okay. So if company gives certain allowances so that employee can get a tax exemptions, so the salary structure is designed in such a way the employees will be benefited out of it, the company also. Second, company will not lose much amount. Okay, why? See, the company's cost, more. Say for example, as I said, the leave encashment daily rate, for example, okay, it is, let's say, basic salary divided by number of working days in a pay period. Let's assume that. Now my CTC is 12 lakhs. CTC is 12 lakhs, and I do not have, assume I do not have any other components apart from basic pay. So basic pay monthly is what? 1 lakh, right? And when I divide it by 30 to calculate the daily rate in April, you get daily rate 3,333.33. An employee is having a 10 days leave to be paid off. How much are you paying? 33,000. The company is paying him this much amount. Okay, the company is paying him this amount. Okay, now instead of keeping the basic pay 1 lakh, this entire monthly CTC, I divide it like this: 50,000 basic pay and HRA, let's say 20,000, LTA 15,000, and we have a transport allowance, let's say 5,000 or 10,000. Take 5,000, and then we have a special allowance, and then we have a special allowance. What is the left amount? What is the special
10,000,
allowance?
sir.
10,000.
10,000.
Now, as per this, what is the daily rate? What is the daily rate? Right? For 10 days, how much company is paying now?
$16,666.
Which is better for the company? Classifying the monthly CTC into multiple pay components, or keeping that entire monthly gross into one pay component?
Breaking up the salary component into multiple parts.
Which is better for the company? Breaking up the
Second
salary,
option.
right?
Yes.
Clear? So your gratuity also will not be calculated on 10 lakhs. The gratuity will be calculated on 50,000. And Provident Fund also will be based on the basic pay, not the entire 1 lakh. So employer contribution of basic pay, employer contribution of ESI, there are employer contributions. These contributions are calculated on the divided amount. So company is benefited out of it. How employees benefited out of it? Can he get a HRA exemption here? LTA and
No.
HRA exemption? in this case?
No,
The
sir.
No,
company
sir.
is not paying. Company is not paying house rent allowance to the employee and the LTA to the employee, and the transport allowance are now the transport allowance is not exempted. Earlier it was. So if you don't pay them, employee will not be able to utilize these exemptions. Yes or no? Employee will not be able to utilize these exemptions.
Yes.
Okay. So that's the reason it will classify these amounts into the various pay components. Okay, and these components also derived from income tax or income tax act in India. So this company study that income tax act rule and see which components are exempted from the tax calculation and see if these components can be added in a payroll. Okay, and they add them in the payroll pay structure so that employee will be able to utilize these exemptions directly and submit the IT returns at the end of the year accordingly. And that's the main reason why the salary breakup is important. Okay, one is employee will be benefited out of it, and the company's cost also will not be more. These 2 points keep in mind. Employee must be satisfied ultimately. Clear? So these 2 points keeping in mind, the HR policymaker design the pay structure in the company. They bring these policies, pay policies, based on the Income Tax Act mainly. Clear? In any company. So these components in SAP are called wage types. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we will start working on a wage types from tomorrow. And this concept is not just for Infotype 8. The same configuration is applied for 14. Same configuration is for 15. The wage type configuration 267, 2010, okay, 0416, and 57, Infotype 11. In all these areas, the same concept is same configuration steps are used, which is why the wage types configuration is more important for every payroll consultant, because you may be working in India, you may be working in Indian payroll or US payroll, any country payroll. This configuration remains same. This configuration remains same, and for all these info types, wherever wage type is maintained, this configuration steps are common and same. Clear? So catch you tomorrow, guys. We'll start with the wage type configuration.
Thank you, sir. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
You guys.